Morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Bread for Soul Converse with me, Sir LSG. And thank you so much for joining me and for watching the show. To especially to those people who have been watching so religiously, I thank you so much. If it's your first time watching, thank you to you too. I hope that you can come through every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. South African time. Or if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And you know, the show I've been so honored to be hosting a lot of people, a lot of artists, icons that I've been looking up to, like for such a long time. And one of those is here on the show this morning, DJ MBUSO. Welcome, brother. How are you?
Welcome, brother. I'm good. I'm very well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Hey tada, hey tada. And
Hey, Tada.
yeah, I was asking you if you went out this morning because utlika mask.
Yeah. No. Well, the mask basically says it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
Hey tada, my brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, it's so good to be chatting to someone like you, Awana, because I feel like the contribution that you made in South Africa within the house music industry is such a big one, bruh. It's huge, and it's such an honor for me to have someone like you on the show. And I wanna just start by asking you, um, right now, when you have time to sit and look back at your career, do you are you aware of your contributions and how do you feel about them?
Um. I mean, to be honest, I think one is done a lot, but there's still more to be done.
Yeah,
Yeah, but for what the journey, where I am, where the journey has led me to, I'd say I'm quite happy,
yeah,
yeah, with what's transpired over the years.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy that you took on the kind of work that you did and the amount of people that you put on. There's so many DJs, especially Kosovo Mfetu. Like, there's so many DJs who would be like, man, Mbuso was that first person. Like, you were that inspiration for them. A lot of DJs, China, Claude. I spoke to Bushe as one of them, and so many more DJs who really like look up to you. Who were your influences back in the days? Who were you looking up to when you started DJing?
Okay. 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 Maybe the question is like, what led me into music? Then I'll get to the part where
Yeah,
I mean, I grew up born in the 70s. Grew up Kasi, Kasi was rap, Like we looked up to people, like you wanted to be the kids, Jack steel cars, like music was things that happened in festivals. Like being a young guy, like probably around 9, 10, like music wasn't nailing to a cost feeling or body festival. Your mom used to take me to festivals. But then like this whole gangster thing, also the Koloy wasn't my thing. I saw then when I was exposed to music, I think I was like 12, 13. We used to go clothing shopping with my mom in Hillbrook. Then like as a young kid, I wandered off to record shops. I don't know what led me there, but I ended up being at Look and Listen. From Look and Listen, I was going to underground shops. Like then I saw music. Then I saw specialist dance music. Then that intrigued me. I was like, whoa, this is interesting. Then I remember my neighbor used to work at CNA. Then she used to bring us magazines. We used to buy magazines from them. Then I started collecting like Source magazines and I think that was a start exposure. Then moving along, I found out that there was a guy called Kanyani that was selling tapes, like guys like Kanyani, Sesh, and Bob Mapena, may his soul rest in peace. we used to play this music on radio, radio pop, Then I was
Mm.
like, everything just started piling up and making pieces. But knowing that one would be a DJ still it wasn't a plan.
Mm.
But that's what drew me into dance music, to
Mm.
move away from just normal music to move specifically into dance.
Mm. Mm. And
Like, as young kids, I mean, like Bobby Brown, we used to collect that. But when I heard Jay Williams, I'm gonna sweat, 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 yeah, then I was like, wow, Black Box, Demo, Kathy Dennis,
mm.
Eddie Frankie Knuckles stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Then yeah, that was the start of something.
Yeah, and because you mentioned the late Bob Mabena, I just wanted to get in a bit on his life. Have you had encounters with him before?
Yeah, yeah, lots. I actually did a tribute for him not so long ago when he was still on Kaya. I was like, dude, I mean, we've done so many things together, like events, played clubs, played, but he was still the humblest guy, like like Vinny, like down to earth, willing to share knowledge, and yeah, but he was a great human being, a great
Yeah,
mentor also.
yeah, man. And I think someone like him, he's always been like that, even to his last days. For me, when where like an encounter that I remember late last year, Brabob walked into Mnet and he was coming for some interview. So I took my chance. I went to him and I'm like, "Hey, my brother, I've got this idea," which was actually an audio version of this show. So I was proposing it to him. So I said to him, "Man, Power FM, you guys are at talk radio. Let's do this thing on Power." And I told him what I wanted to do, and he gave me the time, bruh. So it was on a Friday, and he was like, Monday morning, come to my office. Like after his show, I was there. He brought me into some kind of a boardroom and with some people back up power. And the story that I'm sharing really is really about the people who are already doing something, giving time and giving knowledge um, and chances to people who are aspiring, especially when you can see that somebody's aspiring to do something and you can see there is light in this person, then they bring you
Yeah.
in, and he was that kind of person. But I want to know, with regards to you, who were the people that gave you time and gave you a chance, especially in the early days once you started learning how to DJ?
Um, I think Kanyani is one of them. I mean, like I'm from an era where DJing. It wasn't DJing. It was just playing music at a party. It wasn't like mixing. Like before there was a mixer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like or maybe in South Africa, uh, like you used to play a tape, then a tape, like there was no turntable,
Yeah.
then yeah, but like getting to know music, your Kerry Kells, Chandler, your Brothers Vibe, all of that. I
Mm.
mean, really, I mean, I'd go from school, directly from school. My first stop before I went swimming was Ganyani. Like that was religiously. Then I started selling my own tapes and reports. I started collecting my own music. I used to have a crew with my friends, Kulisa and Stay. We'd go to look and listen and buy every month. We just buy one, and some guy called Cooper. We stole his father's turntable, like a belt drive that didn't have a belt. Look at us. Okay, we get home, we get a turntable from his house, then we go to my house, we get there, we put on the record, but it's not spinning. Hey, then you keep cracking our heads. Ish, what's happening?
Mm.
Can't do this thing is a belt drive.
Eh,
So we open it up to, Reggae Yamagi.
yeah.
Yeah, we found a rubber band, we put a rubber band, it snaps, and then this thing goes broke, broke, broke. Then I had to save to buy, I remember it was like 25 bucks for the belt.
Mm.
And when we got the belt, then we saw that we needed another turntable and a mixer. That took a whole year to save just to get a mixer and another turntable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ash man. Yeah, that was yeah. Then obviously going to events like Medunza, TNT bashes, and one. So I mean, I hear Kanyani talking about Christos, Rini, the likes. Like I think I was 13 then. Then I saw that. I had a cousin that was a bouncer. He took me to a club called Countdown. I was like 13, the shortest guy. They used to hide me under the DJ booth. Yeah, then I saw all of this in Hillbrow. Like, I mean, I'd have stories on Monday at school. You can imagine you're 13, 14. You've been to clubs, like you're the man. You know, I know songs before everybody. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can see the culture. I can't wait to finish my trick. You know, that
Yeah.
was that's like basically what happened.
Bruh,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yeah. I can imagine, man. Like, and
yeah,
another thing that you mentioned, which was quite surprising for me, that you went to swimming. I'm like, hey, man, this guy, a black
yeah.
man, can actually
See,
swim.
like I started as yeah, we started as in Orlando West. Everybody swims. It's like one of those things. Either
Mm.
you're into soccer or you're into swimming or both.
Yeah.
But soccer wasn't so good, so I spent most of my time, if not doing music, swimming.
Mm. And
Yeah,
because your journey, bruh, is such a big and an eventful one, I think we wouldn't be able to get through everything in an hour or one. So I'm gonna try
yeah,
to kind of skip some stuff, but I wanna get into, because you used to work for some time at Sugar Tracks, but I wanna know,
yeah.
how did you link up with Harel?
Okay. Okay. Let's move back. So when I finished my trek, I went to Valtech.
Mm.
We started. I think that's where everything. Just before I went to tech, I had a crew with my guys with Claude. I mean, we go way back. Claude grew up down the street from me. Uh, we call this our crew Boston Flavor Records. You know, Claude was a spray painter, so we were starting to DJ. Then when I got to Technicon, I mean, this whole thing, freedom, you know, no parents. There, so we started exploring, met Clive, we started DJing, doing bombas, doing events, planning, bringing fresh over. Then in '99, I was called to come work at YFM. Like things started changing. Lance, some guy that used to work at House Africa, started a shop called Sugar Tracks.
Mm.
From Sugar Tracks, when whilst working at Sugar Tracks, and that's where I met Cleo, Gerard, Tavi from 115, Marco. Like everybody, like WHP, everybody. They went to I think LNB, or I think yeah. Then that's where I met Haral. Haral went to the same school with them. They used to buy records from Sugar Tracks. So I think in '99, yeah, they were selling the shop.
Mm.
So at that time, uh, I felt I needed a partner. So that's where we linked up. I asked Harrell one day, like, I was like, yo, man, like, hey, Idris, brother, you got money. Yeah, do you want to partner into this thing?
Mm.
We were actually introduced by some guy called Gerard. We used to work with him.
Mm.
So that's how we never planned. It wasn't. We didn't ever sit down. Of yo, no. We just said, okay, how much is needed?
Mm.
Let's do this.
Wow.
And I remember with Capex and like trying to think of a name. Then I was going up the stairs. I was like, Soul Candy. I ran back to him. I'm like, yo, because we used to party together all the time. I was like, I think I got the name for the company. And
Mm.
then I was like, Soul Candy. He looks at me. He's like, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, then that was the start of Magic.
bruh. And
Magic, one of the greatest guys. Simple. We never argued. We never like we were straight with what we wanted. Dude, we never took a salary. We used to eat chips and a bread roll for like probably 2 years. But we were focused on music. We never looked at profits. We never looked. We were just looking at building something.
yo, bruh,
Always
like,
hunting to sell vinyl to get, you know, even before the compilations started. But because I had done compilations before with major labels, I knew that was the ultimate plan to be moving towards taking younger guys to be introducing them to the market or broadening the market basically.
yeah. And so by the time you started, you bought Sugar Tracks and then started Soul Candy. Were you already DJing heavily in town, like
Yeah.
with
Ah,
115?
Yeah, no. That was a tweet. I was like the man. I was doing like 7 clubs a night, like yeah, Cape Town, everywhere. Like like I mean, I'd been overseas already then.
Yeah.
Uh, London, I played in Paris. Yeah, things were happening. I had Charles Webster had licensed one of our records on MyZo. So things, the journey before was harder,
Mm.
but like I mean, with the start of Soul Candy, I think I was I knew the direction. I mean, I knew exactly what needed to be done in the industry,
Yeah.
and where I fit in, what I could do right, what I could shape
Mm. And
or we could shape as a company.
yeah, yeah. One of the people that you mentioned sent me a voice note which I wanna play for you, and then we'll carry on with our conversation.
Yeah.
Cool.
MBUSO no Mantulwana. This is the dude that basically inspired my whole career in terms of DJing and basically traveling from the whole record store scenario. So it started off with like, I think it was about more or less, I think around 14 or 15, stuff like that. And stuff, the thing is, his cousin called Tapo used to cut my hair. So I normally would go through, sit in. And then from there, when he was cutting my hair, he used to play these mixtapes. And I was wondering what the hell was going on because there was a song coming on top of another song. So I would just ask him exactly what was going on. And then he just told me, no, my cousin did this for me. And then I was like, okay, who's your cousin? He's like, Mbuso. I'm like, okay, cool. I'd like to meet him one day. And then eventually, because he was in tech back in the days, so he eventually was during the holidays, he used to come through. He had turntables and records, and I was so intrigued. And then I think that's where it all started between me and him. One other thing that people don't really realize and understand about Mbuso is that he was definitely miles ahead of his generation. I think he was one of the first guys that really, I would say, a crossover DJ that had appeal on both markets. And he was not really, he didn't put himself in a box or basically playing the same old stuff that everyone was playing. I mean, he even initiated gigs overseas. I think he was one of the first DJs that actually got gigs overseas. So big ups to him, you know. People just don't. I think he's one of the most neglected guys that really paved the way for a lot of us that are here. You know what I mean? So yeah, big up.
Yo, LSG, uh, MBUSO, aka MB. That's the Don you got there, man. That's my brother from another mother. That guy, man, that's the guy that opened the doors for me. That's the guy that showed me how it's done. That's the guy that gave me a chance. Uh, you know, the most important thing I remember about him, about meeting him, was importantly how he made me feel. How I felt so welcomed. I never felt out of place. I felt already from the first day on that I was part of the family, and I wasn't more forcing myself onto anything. What a genuine guy, lovely guy, forever laughing. Heart of gold. And yeah, man, he, that guy was a visionary, hard worker, that's one thing you must know about him. He works hard. He gets up and he gets his, and he gets things done, and I mean, he was international before it was even cool to be international, he was always eclectic, he knew, he had the groove. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about being a DJ. I mean, he's an exceptional DJ, and no one can argue that, not to mention the ear, I got nothing but love for him, He's a brother. I'll always be grateful for him, and to have met him, He's no longer a friend, he's a brother to me, he's an older brother to me, and he taught me a lot, and I'm grateful to have met him. And most importantly, I'm thankful for him having to have to open the door for me, and having to follow in his footsteps, and not once made me feel like I'm unwanted, or I am forcing myself onto him or whatever it is that he was doing at the time, I love him for that, and yeah, man, I just want to say big up to him. Got nothing but love and respect for him. He knows this. And yeah, man, more life and more blessings to him, much love, China.
Bruh. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yes, my brother China Claude.
Yeah. In fact, now, bruh, I want to know from you, because Spanish, like, just having had these kind of guys around you, Obabona, like, growing, and to see them grow into, the artists that they became, China, Claude, and many other guys who were from the same school, if I may put it that way. How did that make you feel? Like, I'm sure you must be proud.
Yeah, like not to say that I'm boasting, but I knew that this was gonna come. Like I said, like BFR, like Boston Flavor Records, like imagine as a kid, like imagining there was no money to be made from DJing. There was no coolness around being DJing, but I had a vision to make it cool. I saw Biz McKee, like from a magazine, I saw Biz McKee, his basement was vinyl. Dude, I wanted that, It wasn't about the fame, it was just having so much music. We used to chill in my garage. That was my bed. I moved from inside the house to, like it's called a garage, but like what would you call it? Like cottage, So we'd open on a Sunday. Like I had turntables. Everybody had their turn to mix. Then only one pali like there's a street across, so we put turntables up every Sunday. Everybody makes their turn. We're still playing. Then you jump, you go play a vinyl, then you get back. Like it was teaching us to be better. And as soon as we hear horses, everyone stops, like hey, fix, So like we moved. Like Claude was like I said, Claude was the artist, was the painter. Everybody did something, some like he did the speakers. So when it came to compilations, it was like, because I was always and always trying something new, I knew that the team had to follow. This one had to play that one has to play that. And when we started making music, or like getting introduced to production of music, that's why I say Soul Candy was like the revolution, the evolution of something. Like we were doing now compilations and compiling our own music and finding like-minded guys to work with, like we started fusing local with international. So now people would say Harrison Crump, Gerard, like it's like wow, it's like La Liga almost type thing, to level out the playing. I remember going to we were going to the Miami conference, and I walked into a shop in New York. I think it's called not downtown. But anyway, I had records of Gerard. So they played them on the main system, and everybody's like 6850, like everyone went crazy. And by the way, 6850, you know that song, right?
Yes, of course.
The name comes from, it's China's home address, 6850 Maluleke Street, because China used to love that record so much. I was like, what are we gonna call the song? I was like, what's your home address? Then that's how it came about. It's always been us hanging and playing, and we still are. It's bigger. We're making better money, but we're still playing.
Yeah.
It's always been to us. It's not never been about fame. It's always been about challenging and playing the groove. China said it right, playing the groove. Stumps, everybody mixing. Kent, Umi, dude, I've worked with Smalls from Pretoria, like, like my hands, I can't even count.
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah,
Yes. It's so like I didn't even know that story. Yeah. The Madulika Street,
yeah,
song. But I mean, the
yeah,
song, I remember very well. Like I mean, 2003 when you guys released the first Soul Candy Session 1 album, I was in grade 10, and at that time, Kosgela, there was this thing because I took 2 taxis from where I used to live to school, so I would make sure that I'm not getting in any taxi as a darling sound. So that compilation was one of the compilations they were popular that time. And taxi if you knew a taxi driver had a good ear and why to Dimano Dala sounded great, that's the taxi
yeah,
that you wait for. Or when after school especially you will wait until Ibu taxi you
yeah.
from town. So bruh, like for me, really I would say that was the beginning of a part of the beginning of my journey, because when I got to Johannesburg in 2005, I mean 2006, to do electrical engineering COVID, and that's when we traveled to Rosebank and we saw the Soul Candy logo. Like when we used to see this logo on the CD. Now Rabona this logo, like we actually seeing the store is right there, 10 tables and everything, man. And that's where this journey for me started as a DJ. So I would say you've been one of those people who were right at the beginning of many DJing careers in South Africa, and I wanna applaud you for that, bro. And
Thank you.
I wanna ask you though, like about Soul Candy. So when things were happening and these compilations, the release you released that live being compilation as well, and you were touring the world.
Stella,
Yeah, and so
yeah,
many.
Stella,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
Kanyani, and like, yeah, anyway,
and Claude, obviously, like Stereo
yeah.
Candy eventually. But when you were seeing how popular these compilations were becoming, and now the label probably starting to make money, what was the plan then? Were you guys, between you and Harar, were you always changing plans or creating bigger goals for yourselves as a label?
Yeah, like things were happening automatically. Like how we moved from Colette Drive to Rosebank. Then Ryan Megatroid came through. He was like, guys, I think you guys are a brand. We can. I know how to teach music. It just gets, and we looked at each other like, there's a space available upstairs. Why don't we try this guy's idea? We started doing small equipment, then the DJ school. So everything just happened. Like we planned everything around. Like we got into distribution around. Everything was just happening. We looked obviously looking at companies like Defected, and like we wanted to match what was happening internationally.
Yeah,
Everything was organic, basically.
yeah,
There wasn't much of I didn't need hard planning.
yeah. And out of those compilations, which one would you say were surprising, like in how much it was, how much love it received, and how much many copies you guys were selling?
uh, I I think all of them. We put love into everything that we do. I can't say this one or that one. Obviously, let's say So Candy one would have been because that was a changing, that was the mother. So everything else came under like the main. I mean, there's a main So Candy album that pushed all the other things. But in terms of each individual album, love is put into every single album the same way. It's our brand, it's our baby. You can't put more effort there and less effort there. No, every DJ is the same. Claude, China, Clive Bean, Fresh. You put in the same love.
Yeah.
But obviously, the in terms of selling, that goes with the DJ themselves. How one sells more albums. I mean, Fresh was on radio, so you can sell more. Kanyani, he's been playing longer. Obviously, he'll sell more.
Mm.
But in terms of putting in energy or efforts into an album, we put in exactly the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Because everyone was part of it. Like, I mean, Claude is part of compiling Fresh, Kanyani. Like, everyone, like, we were a team.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
And in terms of the artwork, you know, one will give advice, input, you know. I mean, it's like, imagine, like, guys come to buy records and we show them, what do you think of the sleeve, you know? So everything, like, because it's DJs, we're working with DJs, so we need their input on what we're gonna put out.
Yes.
It's like, even before we release the song, even the 6850, we'd play it, then we're like, do you guys want us to press the vinyl? So we always interacted with the DJs.
Yes. And how did you meet up with, I mean, like, I want to know about the production actually of Gerard, because when I found out much later actually in my career as an artist that Gerard is actually from, you know, where I'm from. He's from Mafikeng, and my brother, you cannot say that. You cannot say that. There's no way for it. Mafikeng was the first place in South Africa to have a casino, bruh. We used to have Las Vegas before Johannesburg had anything. So nightlife.
Las Vegas,
Yeah, Las Vegas, it's fine.
but great stuff comes from the glass, you know. Even fruits, veggies come from the glass.
but you would know, like the nightlife in Mafikeng. I'm sure you played, especially back in the days. Like, how was the nightlife?
That was crew, all the best DJs, man. Everything. I mean, radio pop, everything is mapped out.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, half of the music industry, half of the entertainment industry, bruh, Bob Mabena, Glenn Lewis, so Metro FM, the foundation. Yeah. I'm not gonna win this one. But your meeting with Gerard, like, just tell me about your working experience, Leah, and just him as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, like, before it was called, before Soul Candy, let's move back to Sugar Tracks. So everybody comes, because they're all studying music. Karel, Tavi, you know. So Gerard never bought records, but he wanted me to play him all the latest cuts. He was obviously to inspire him to. Then they started making tracks and bringing them over, say, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? You know. So obviously when we started Soul Candy and when we were playing the Soul Candy album, Parel came up with a suggestion that, why don't we take that guy, you know, maybe that guy and Cleo, you know, to make our beats, because they were friends. They went to class together.
Yeah. Are you able to move a bit closer to your just for the mic? Yeah.
So we explored the idea of having interest. So everything just happened. So we clicked. Then I bring in the tracks, the international tracks, the style, just basically to bring the style to show him what he should produce. But obviously he made his own music, but to give him direction of the sound that we wanted. So he's been he's my guy, that one. Hapalelu Mutusi, like his name says, Hapalelu.
Yeah. And similarly with Dr. Duda as well, you know, like such a dope producer as well.
That guy is a genius. Hail to the king. His story was a strange one, you know. Like, I mean, dude, like at that time I was very busy. I was DJing there and there. So this guy Duda, I mean, everybody drops in their demos. You know, when we did compilations, we're taking in. I wanted more and more local music then. I mean, with the success of 6850, I saw that we actually can move with local tracks. So Dr. Duda, you know, like one day I take all these CDs, like I go through the CDs, the demos, and I still see lots of Dr. Duda. I remember I was going to Mpumalanga, then past Witbank, I put on one CD. I put all the demos when I drive. I listen to the demos. Then 4-hour drive, I've got time to listen. First check, nice. Like, I'm like, nice. Then I put on another CD, but he's been giving me the same tracks, but he changes here and there and there.
Mm.
I remember I was taking a turn just before it said nail sprayed. I call him, I'm like, buddy, come to Soul Candy on Monday.
Yeah.
Then he tells me a story that he's been there. I've been promising him to come, and then I'm not there. But I promised him. I said that day, dude, your life is gonna change.
Mm.
Like, and we put his song. His first, I think it was on Fresh's album, one of like the anthem.
Mm.
Then his life changed from there.
Yes, yes, bruh. And
Look at
he,
him. We've got Mikasa now.
yeah, yeah, he's a
But
genius, bruh.
he's a genius. He's a
Mm.
genius.
Mm. And he's,
Yeah, like total. I've got tremendous respect for that guy as a producer and as a DJ and as a human being.
yeah, and he speaks so highly of you too, man. Like, yeah, how well Dr. Duda Mosaka, DJ Mbuso, yes, yes, you know, like
Yeah,
he almost becomes emotional because you were that person and that really brought him on, you know, for the first time. And I think those kind of things are so important, Bragane, because sometimes an artist it takes such a just one chance to be given, like for an artist to really now truly believe in what they do, you know, because sometimes waza manfeto it can be a difficult thing, especially when you're starting out and you're just trying to get into the music thing, you know, you're sending out demos, you're giving your links to this person and the next person, and because the industry is so flooded and people who are always receiving these demos, sometimes it's like, yo, another demo, you know, and
yeah.
it just takes that one chance for mutual chance if hey, actually let me give this guy a chance. So big ups to you for that. I want to ask you about playing abroad, you know, because by that time, like China said, you were one of the first DJs to play abroad from South Africa. um how was that experience, especially back then, of playing in other cities, in other world cities?
Uh, it was sick. Uh, I can't say it was that. It was different in a certain way, like how we played here. But because I was playing white clubs here, and so it felt like the white clubs try to keep up to the international standard. So there wasn't, but the sound systems are greater, different mixer. They don't use a Gemini. You learn different ways of mixing, or no, different equipment. But
Yeah.
it was mind-boggling, especially to be moving people when you from here. I mean, I remember being at the Rex Club. The Frank Rogers here, Olivia Portal is there, that one is there, and like, I'm shaking, Mandel Turner, like all the guys, DJ Rock, everyone's there, and I was playing. It was crazy. Then you go to the record store the next day, there's DJ T, they're like, Africa,
Mm.
Africa, nice set, Africa. It's like, whoa, like, cool. You going back to Africa? No, you must stay 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
So it was mind-boggling, and to come home. I remember I came back. I was like, "Hey guys, let's have a meeting." I was ordered to tell them that I'm buying champagne because I see people popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now it's a hip hop thing to be popping champagne. We used to pop on house music, man.
Yeah. And just here at
But it's a
home.
lifestyle in Paris. This whole thing of celebrating, it's not it's a lifestyle to celebrate. Like
Mm.
not popping for no reason.
It's not a boasting thing to show off.
It's not a
It's not a
posting.
show
No,
off.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's not a show off.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but here in South Africa during that time, clubs like 115 was also, you know, so popular. I just missed a chance because when I got to Johannesburg, it was towards the closing of 115, you know, so I never got to experience the vibes there. And how would you describe that nightclub?
It was crazy. I mean, 115 comes from a club called Reality. Now, if you think Reality was insane, like 4 floors of madness. Like you walk in, drum and bass here, hip hop there, like then you move to the roof, it's like dirty house music. Then, because the guy wasn't paying DJs very well, we went to Paolo's place, which is called 115 now. It's 115 was the name of the joint. So we used to go from clubs to clubs. All the DJs hang there. Like we started mixing. Then it became a club. So that was love on a different note because it started off as a house party, then
Mm,
it became a club. That's why 115. There were no rules, like there was just mad love inside of
mm,
that space.
mm. Yeah, bruh. And so I want to get to this point because now Soul Candy was this popular brand, this massive brand. Compilations were selling like hotcakes, and you guys really had already like made a stamp. Especially with the sessions compilations and the other compilations with Fresh, with everyone else that was, and you had such a strong team of DJs, on board. Um, and then came a time in 2005 where you left to go start your own imprint, Pezulu Selections, Pezulu Records, I mean. What was the reason for you to leave an already existing thing that you started from the ground with your partner Harel?
Yeah, like Soul Candy, Pezulu, have always been brother and sister. Like when okay, Pezulu came after Soul Candy 2 years on. It was we it was our tool to release. I mean, we had a distribution with a company in New York called Syntax. So the first record that we put out was through that company, and I came up with a plan. I was like, Soul Candy is dope, but let's have something with an African name. So we'll put up international stuff as Pezulu, but still, like as a baby of Soul Candy. So we did that. So we put up records internationally as Pezulu, then locally kept the Soul Candy motherboard. Then in 2005, local music was booming. Local house music was starting to pop. I just wanted to broaden the. I felt trying to pull these two things under one thing is very difficult. People won't see, but I need to break away to make the same thing happen. But to focus more on local because I know here there's a team of people that can move this. The only so it wasn't like to people it seemed as if like two different things. To me, it's like the same thing, same team. My friends worked with Soul Candy, the same type of thing. It was never like this or that. It was just it's like when you move from Kokasi, then you move to town, but you can still go visit
Yeah.
Kumakaenga. So it still is to me. To a lot of people, to China, to God, we're still one big family.
Mm. Yeah.
It's never been, there's no breakaway. It's a breakaway in terms of probably contacts and certain things, but in terms of love, and it's still the same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, like you still set up Pezulu, as eventually you set it up as a record store as well, a label and store, and you were not so much anymore run in the running of the daily runnings of Soul Candy. So I want to understand that. Was there like a thing where you took a step back in this business, or you sold a part of yourself or your shares in that business? Like what happened in that scenario?
I was just expanding.
Yeah.
I can't say breakaway. Like I say, it's one thing. It's one thing. It's never been that. It's one thing to me. Like to everybody else, but like because you look at the artists that are signed to Pezulu or So Ken, it's the same artist. Duda was signed here, then it's there.
Yeah.
So there's no animosity.
Yeah.
It's one thing. One is signed here, and then it's on an album there. Some records are put up this side, some of them are put up that side. So it's one thing. It's never been. It's like there's no war, no friction now.
Yeah.
It was just expanding, moving more local on the Pezulu side, and that one still moving local, but retaining that international aspect to say.
Yeah. No, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Because for me, I
We,
always
we,
thought,
we're bringing in international, we're taking out local.
ah,
Put
no,
it that
no, it
way.
makes sense. It makes sense. Because for me,
Yeah.
like, I always thought, like, okay, now you went on to start your own thing, and you left this
Um,
thing. Yeah. Okay, no, I hear you, brother.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you look at the records. Some of them have Soul Candy and Pizzu.
yes, yes, yeah,
You know,
true, true.
we use the same distribution company. We use the same resources. If I wanted stuff to be put out, the same records we made were sold at Soul Candy. Soul Candy sold at Pizzu. There
Mm,
was no, or there still is no.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you started releasing compilations, Pezulu selections, cause then also it was like, damn, this guy Haba Fates, like it was another wave because those compilations were so big, bruh. Like they were massive. The sessions, Pezulu selections 1, 2, and I just wanna know, like, from did you, because those sold a lot, was there a time where what happened, let me rather, was there a point where you realized the decline of sales of compilations of vinyl as well, and the moving into a more digital space? What was happening when you realized that change was happening in the industry?
I think it was around 2007, 2008. I remember I still sat with Vinny when Rosebank. I was like, "Ish, brah, we might have to close the shop." He looks at me like with a orange doctor. Pretend you like, buddy, hey, it's going here.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to let go. I mean, Vinny has been doing it for so many years. To hear somebody saying, "Yeah, fella,"
Mm.
I don't want to hear you giving me a headache. But it was like, I mean, it was the saddest thing. But I think another thing, MP3 was coming in and the recession was hitting. So that worked against the vinyl because it started becoming expensive. There was load shedding. Guys came to the shop that couldn't listen to records anymore, and they're not going to come back the next day. Imagine traveling from Mafikeng to come buy records and there's no electricity. You end up buying MP3. It's easy to download, and people are sharing files. Yeah, it was said like 2009, 10, 11 was the saddest part for the DJing industry.
Yeah. And
But it was moving somewhere else though.
you said it was what?
It was moving somewhere else. It was shifting from vinyl to now this new form called MP3 Wave. Then there wasn't much MP3, but like for the vinyl, for the record store, that was the death of the record store.
And I remember I was talking to Vinny 2 weeks ago about, because I asked him, during that change, he was basically telling me a story of the time where he went to Miami, I think around the same time, 2008, and he started seeing CDJs, at the clubs, like Louis and them were playing on CDJ, and like, guys, what's happening? They're like, no, we are moving, chief, or whatever. We are moving onto this thing, and like the same reaction you gave, it's what he said he gave to the guy. What do you mean? Like, do I not? No more vinyl, like, and I can imagine Mix also spoke about it, because Mix had a store, the Forel store in Pretoria, and already then he also had people employed, and now this change from vinyl to MP3 is happening, and many people in the industry were not ready for those changes, but I mean, here we are embracing them, I guess, as best as we possibly can. I want to ask you, because you've been quiet for a while, man. Like, not like you've been there, but like you're not, really putting yourself out there, whether on social media, whether like releasing new music. I know you told me you're working on stuff, but did you get to a point where you had to take a break? What was happening in your life?
Yeah, right. I think with everyone, a break is needed. I overworked myself for many, many years. I never slept, DJ, did this, did that. It can get you, because no one plans really. With the fame and monies and the attention, it's really hard for one to take in. When you sit down, like, you don't take enough time for yourself. It's needed. Like I still work with producers every single day. I inspire people. I do this and that. But like, one needs to take away, when you do music too much or anything too much, it can really get you. because having to juggle with so many artists, so much of this, like, and DJing. I mean, when you're playing like 5 clubs or 10 clubs a weekend, you can imagine it comes Monday, Tuesday, and you have to get up and go run a shop. You have to go order records. You have to listen to one's demo, and I mean, there's a team that you work with, but you still have to be overlooking all these different aspects of things. It really gets to one. Yeah, but like now, I think I've taken enough rest. There will be things coming out, and the plan is to move space towards compilations again. I really believe in the compilations because they help young people, especially since it's hard to put out bodies of work by yourself. You know, like compilations helped a lot of people. You know, just to have that one hit on Vinny's album or on Fresh's album, on Kanyani's album, it motivates you to want to do more because then suddenly you're known, you know. To have a hit on Fresh's album, or on Euphonics album, or on Tira's album, you're moving toward China, you know, then it inspires you to do more. Then people are like, when are you playing out your own stuff? But one can rush. Like I see guys rushing in and trying to, because you have to market yourself. And if you come from a small town, how does one? You don't have the resources to market yourself. So it becomes hard. It becomes a longer journey. Whereas compilations, like they fast forward the process, basically. You know, like there's Duda from Pumalanga, then this week, then he's on Fresh's album, then it's like, Duda from Pumalanga on Fresh's, you know, like you know, same with a lot of people. So I believe going back into that space of compilations and like moving differently. I'm not going to focus on house albums only, you know, whether it's my piano or down tempo. But I think our first project is going to be slightly down tempo since the lockdown is not dancing. There's a lot of guys producing very laid back, groovy stuff. That's the plan, you know, to work, to do albums also with a cause, with a meaning, not just showcasing the DJ. You know, like we do an album for cancer, you know, musicians uniting for some cause, you know.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to that, bro. I do have to ask you this because you mentioned a bit of it, but I think maybe if you could give us one scenario in a bit of detail where you had the most difficulty, you know, because like you mentioned, when people see you, when we see you as a successful DJ and you've been touring the world and your compilations are selling, you've got this record store that's like booming, you know, you literally, an anchor to so many things. Like, what have been some of the most difficult things that people might not even know about, but we all go through difficulty? And the reason I'm asking this is because someone could be going through a similar thing that you would have went through and you came out of, you know, and you sharing your story is a way of helping that person, you know, come out of their problem. So what has been maybe one of the most difficult things for you or challenging things for you to come out of?
It's really hard to say. I mean, nothing is ever easy. I've been blessed to have like strong people around me, like my family, like my brothers, which are guys that I grew up with. But the journey, I was brought up never to give up. That's the whole thing. It's like you must never give up. If you're passionate about something, you need to push. Nothing's been easy. Like just to find space, anyway, just to get into the music industry, to DJ. I used to go every single day, watch video, like everybody else, like watch until one says, "Okay, cool, you know what? Hey, I'm tired, bro. Let's see you. Let's see what you're about." See, but having to wait 10 years to every single day, you know, to think, I want to have a record shop. It is to save money. You have to give up on a lot of things that other guys are doing. You know, I could have bought a car then, like, you know, like having to travel miles. I've walked around London, like, yo, studying so candy. I googled all these record shops. I walked in the rain, in the rain. Can you imagine? To the black dude in London, it's cold. You like, and you know we're scared of the cold. Like you have to walk around and ask people like, "Yo, blimey, excuse me, mate, where do you find Barrack Street?" They're like, "Hey, go there, go there." One day they nearly London. No, no. How do I tell guys back home? I was married by white dudes.
Oh damn.
Rough out there, like, hey, London is not there. Don't take them. They come with knives. Yeah, but a lot of things have been challenging. I mean, even like getting into like production. Uh, I've given demos to so many people, record companies saying no, 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 no. So I think that the birth of Soul Candy, the hunger of hearing so many no's, that's the one thing that drove me to Soul Candy, to say I want to be that door that says yes, yes, yes to a lot of people. Because when I did high school, there was no music school. There was no like music schools like that shaped towards dance culture. You know, so one has managed in his life to move from when there was nothing to create something. There was no proper plan, it just happened. That I'm proud of, to say now kids can go when they're doing 7, 8 and think, I want to be a DJ. I want to be that guy that steals cars. I don't want to rob a bank. I want to be a DJ and know that I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be somebody that, you know, I can walk into a bank and take a loan by being a DJ. That I was part of that revolution, so I'm happy as a human being. Yeah.
Bro, like,
And it was never easy.
yeah,
It's never easy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and now I am certainly proud, you know, because if if it wasn't for people like you and for labels like Soul Candy, so many other people, other DJs would have never gotten the opportunity to become, you know, who they are as DJs, as artists, and I'm one of those people who would have never been so in love with house music if it wasn't for the compilations, if it wasn't for seeing Soul Candy back in 2006 and becoming a student there, and eventually like releasing, licensing some singles on the label too. So, you know, what you started as a passion of yours has now become something that you know, so many other people could feed off. And now I think the 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 responsibility is really upon people like me, people like DJ China and Claude, people who have been given that chance, that opportunity to now teach other people, you know, and give other people chances so that this thing keeps on growing. And I think it's one of the reasons why in South Africa there's still such a healthy house music scene, where you still see 18-year-old kids into house music, which is not happening in Chicago, you know, the birthplace of house music in Detroit.
Yeah.
You hardly see, well, from the conversations that I've had with people like DJ Spinner, Terry Hunter, and they would say it's difficult to see young people into house music in the States. So for us to still have that, it's because of this culture of giving back, this culture of giving opportunities to other people. So you were one of those people. And I just want to say, bruh, I've got so much respect to you for that.
Thank you. I mean, I also want to thank a lot of people. I mean, like I thank Boma Bena, I mean, Vinny, Tim White, you know, the birth of South Africa, Speedo, Glenn Lewis. Like a lot of those people were pioneers. There's a lot of people I could mention, but those come number one on the top of that list. Guys like JSD, but I mean, House Africa is a huge role into like our shaping. We took that and we, you know, but like your Tims, your Vinnies, your Chris's are the people that brought this idea. Brawili, you know, these are the people that brought the sound, that compounded us with the sound. Yes, we came and we took it there, and other kids are supposed to take it from where we left off, and we keep shifting. Like like exactly what you said. Everybody must just play their part instead of. I feel now there's people fighting the system as much as there's growth, but they're working against the system as opposed to moving the system forward. People must not be fighting around. I make the best song, I drive the best car. No, man, it should be, let's move house music, let's move the groove, let's keep it alive, move it forward.
Bruh.
Not everybody must want to be a DJ. Some people must have shows like you or do something else.
Yeah.
Bruh,
And that's so powerful. I think just in closing, I want to read you a comment that I got on my Facebook page. It's from Kulisu Jobe Sitole. He says, buying recorded tapes from Serge in Dobsonville and Ganyani Chabalala, we always wanted to record as BASF Chrome cassette. So he's saying, Mbuso Tulwana, a living legend. And indeed you are, bruh. You are our own living legend. I think you need to be celebrated. You need to be honored. And for me, you being here on the show, I really want to say thank you for your contributions and for your time too.
Thank you. And I'd like to say, if anybody's got music that they want to put out, please send it to muzopezulu@gmail.com. Let's keep it moving.
For sure. Yeah.
Check out my Facebook, my Instagram pages. I can send your demos in there. Looking for young artists, fresh ideas. Keep it jiggy.
Yeah, Eitada.
Yeah.
Hola, my brother. And guys,
Hola.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the conversation, please tag somebody in the comment section who might learn from it. And also, most importantly, I think share the video so more people can see the video, more people can see this platform. And thank you for watching. Otherwise, let's remember to stay creative. Peace out.
Yeah. Keep it safe. COVID is alive.
Eitada.
Eitada.